Ricardo Silva Stadium here in downtown Miami. It is USL Championship Soccer presented by Helbiz as Miami FC hosts the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Welcome in, everyone. My name is Austin David with longtime Manchester United goalkeeper Gary Bailey. And before we get into any talk about what this game will entail, let's take a look at the USL Championship standings in the Atlantic Division as the Tampa Bay Rowdies currently far and away the #1 team, but 2, 3, and 4 all battling it out for that second spot, as Pittsburgh currently 3 points ahead of Miami. A result for Miami tonight locks them into that top 4 spacing and into the playoffs. So a big match with all the implications entailing. We take a look back at just 2 weeks ago. Miami and Pittsburgh faced off against each other on October 2nd here in Miami once again, as it was Kenardo Forbes, King Kenny scoring the opener, and then Lamar Walker just 2 minutes later hitting a nice clean volley into the back of the net. Back and forth again, Forbes with the back post header, making it 2-1. Then Miami battling it back with Othello Ball from distance. And to finish it off in stoppage time, Pierre da Silva on the breakaway, finishing it off to win the game for Miami as Pittsburgh look for revenge tonight. And now we take a look at Cristiano Francois. Gary, a player really in form up top, can score goals in a multitude of ways.
Yeah, he's a very, very good player. He's powerful, he's strong, he's good on the ball, he's a good finisher, left and right foot. He's got absolutely everything. Difficult to mark, and that's why he's got 10 goals and 5 assists already this season.
And then you look at Pittsburgh Riverhound. We already talked about Kenardo Forbes. King Kenny, the assist man, one of the best all time to do it in USL Championship history. He continues his strong run of form as of late.
He can assist, he can score them like that. How about that volley with the left foot? Absolutely brilliant. How about this bender in the far corner, back of the net from King Kenny.
And with that, we'll take a break. Stay tuned. Kickoff between Miami and Pittsburgh coming up next here on ESPN+.
This is a football city. From the grassroots to the turf. From the streets to the cleats. We are proud to represent this city. We are proud to represent Miami. We are proud to represent you. Your community, your club.
And welcome back here in Miami, Florida, home of Florida International University, as Miami and Pittsburgh are getting ready to face off. Let's take a look at the lineups for tonight presented by Helbiz. And first, let us take a look at the home side, the Miami FC. 3 changes for this team from their game against Loudoun. Gary, what do you think of this lineup so far?
Well, Paco Craig not available, suspended. Chapman Page starts alongside Baggio. Lobe comes in at left back, and De Silva gets taken out. Othello Barb moves up into that left-hand spot. Speedy Williams is back. That is massive for this side. Palacios drops to the bench.
Speedy Williams, a big boon for this midfield. Pittsburgh, on the other hand, only 1 change, which is very rare for a Bob Lilly team.
Well, given that they beat Tampa Bay 2-0 last match, not really much to change. Dover comes in at left back for Preston Kilwine, but what a side. Both of these, in fact, are loaded with talent. What a match we hopefully are going to get here this evening.
As we prep for this matchup, again, 3 points separating these 2 sides as we are underway from Ricardo Silva Stadium. Ball goes back into the back for Miami. Connor Sparrow, the goalkeeper, the longtime goalkeeper for this Miami side. Putting it into the very warm night sky in Miami. Of course, in Miami, it's natural in Florida that you feel the heat, even if it's in the middle of October.
It's either heat or it's humidity or it's a mixture of both. But massive match for both these sides to try and finish in that second spot. We spoke about it at the beginning of the show. You want to get a home game in the playoffs, and right now Charlotte are leading Charleston Battery, so win vital for both sides.
Ball into the box now, a save very early by Vitiello. Early chance for Miami as Ba got the chip into the box.
Ariel Martinez with a great chance early on there. We're just busy scene setting, and straight away Miami are like, what? We're going to get stuck into this and try and create an opportunity. And after losing to Loudoun, Paul Dalglish, when we chatted to him, said, make no mistake about it, we will come out firing first 10, 15 minutes.
And it's interesting you mentioned the Loudoun game because of that being Miami's most recent game. They have that fire and that passion to want to provide for their home fans, but at the same time, these 2 teams just faced each other 2 weeks ago as we have a foul and a free kick coming in a very dangerous spot here for Miami. But Pittsburgh's also got to feel a bit aggrieved because on this field just 2 weeks ago, they lost in stoppage time to Pierre de Silva's game winner.
Oh, absolutely. They've got something to prove here, but irrelevant of the 2 teams trying to outbattle themselves, it's that big prize of the second spot that they want. A win here for Pittsburgh, and they basically take Miami out of the equation, and then it's really between them and Charlotte. And Miami would have the same argument. They win, they might take Pittsburgh out of the equation, and it's between them and Charlotte for the second spot.
So here is our first set piece of the match. Ball into the box, headed down, and Akinyode heads it out of play. Let's take a look at the injury report from Atlantic Rehabilitation Center. No real injuries for Miami. The only player out for Pittsburgh is former youth international for the U.S., Josh Gatt. So we look at Danny Vitiello, and there is the head coach of Pittsburgh, one of the legends in the USL game, Bob Lilly. He has been around, he has seen it all, and he is arguably one of the best coaches most have never heard of in the U.S.
Nicely put, Austin. Talking to Paul Dalglish, he said, yeah, it's so hard to play against any Bob Lilly side because he picks teams that can morph, that can change, that can test you with different structures, styles of play. 3 at the back suddenly becomes 4 at the back, and that tests the opposition. So Paul Dalglish says, you know, when we play them, we tend to focus more on ourselves because we just don't know what style of play they're going to come out with.
Here's Forbes playing it into the middle. Now Griffin. Griffin having started almost every single game this year, one of the rocks in that midfield for Pittsburgh. Chipped up for Forbes. He gets a little nod to it. Right back in the back line. If we look at Baggio right there, playing center back today, he has played just about every single position for this Miami team since the old days of when they were in NASL. He's played as a forward, he's played as a midfielder, and now, due to the suspension to Paco Craig, he's now playing center back.
Yeah, he actually played centre-back in the previous match against Loudon, and part of Paul Dalglish's thinking was that one day we might need him. Well, it was a bit prophetic, because in that match, Paco Craig gets sent off, and straight away Paul Dalglish does need him, and he's got some time under his belt already as a centre-back, so he should be pretty stable there alongside Callum Chapman-Page.
That's one of the things that Paul talked about, is the versatility of his team. He doesn't have just one player that can score goals. He has a multitude. You know, you have players like Haji Berry who have dominated offensively, but this Miami team has a wealth of talent up front that can score goals for you. You know, not necessarily 20 goal scorers, but 6, 7, 10 goal scorers that will build up over time. Here's a free kick from Forbes, back post looking, and getting a piece of it right at the end of it was Shane White. Ends up going out of play.
I think you could say the same about goal scorers with Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Maybe not to quite the same extent. I take your point. Miami just have goal scorers in almost every position. But I think that the important point about that Paul Dalglish was mentioning is that if you got an injury to Haji Barry at Colorado Springs Switchbacks, you're in trouble, because he scores more than half your goals and he's just been unbelievable. Now, if Pittsburgh Riverhounds lost Cicerone, that would be a massive blow, but they would look to Alex Dixon, Conrado Forbes, Tommy Williamson and say, we can score goals. Likewise, Miami FC can lose any one of their strikers. They have 3 or 4 others. That allows you as a manager to not be too reliant on one superstar player.
Ball is stepped into play. Cicerone now into the box looking for Forbes, and it'll be taken away. Interesting you mentioned the Miami side. With that striker position, they just signed Chris Cortez, who's one of the top 20 all-time goal scorers in USL Championship history, from back in his days with the Orange County Blues and the Phoenix Rising side. The quick free kick was set to be taken by Wharton, but our referee for the evening, Jonathan Belinsky, pulls it back, and now Miami has some time to set their defense up.
You're mentioning Chris Cortez. He came on against Loudon last match and scored with a great header, and a point where Miami were 2-1 up and you thought it's game over, and ended up losing 3-2. The game just fell apart when Paco Craig got his red card, but Chris Cortez is a very good option. He's more of a crossing from wide option, which Miami are not used to.
Here's Forbes into the box. Touch takes him a bit wide, but he was offside otherwise, so play is stopped dead. You mentioned Cortez. He's 6'4". When you have a guy that's just that big, he's always going to be a target and always a danger inside the box. And especially coming off the bench for late game situations, being able to out-jump players, definitely a big boon to the offense for Miami is.
Absolutely, but the biggest problem for Paul Dalglish in Miami is not how they play. They play through the middle, they play, you know, to feet, and so he said he's got to instruct his wide players to whip in crosses whenever Chris Cortez comes in, which they did against Loudon. Beautiful cross in, header, and he was able to punish the Loudon defense for not marking him. But it's nice for Paul Dalglish and the players that they have an option. And if you're a Pittsburgh Riverhounds player or fan, you're looking and thinking, if Chris Cortez comes on, we need to be aware of his threat in the box.
Still only 7 minutes in. We'll cross that bridge probably later in the match in the 70th, 80th minute. Still a lot to be played as both these teams playing in Miami. First 10 minutes, just usually the feeling out period for these two sides. No one wants to make a big mistake, as here's Ariel Martinez, as originally playing advantage and turning the ball over. Martinez stopped, expecting the whistle to be blown, but at that point, advantage had been played by the referee. So it ends up being a turnover for Miami.
You're talking about it being a quiet start, but if I'm not mistaken, in the previous match, I think there was already 2 goals in the first few minutes. It was one of those rare occasions, Forbes in the 3rd and Walker in the 4th minute. Before you'd even found your seat and got your popcorn out, it was 1-1. And that's the ability of both these sides to be able to score goals. They have such talent in attack, both of them.
What makes for an exciting matchup here tonight is Chapman-Page plays it off for Baggio. Jennifer Loba. The changes for Miami this evening. Switching it out wide. It's Francois. Playing it back into the midfield now. Ballard off for Akinyote. Good defensive shape here by the Riverhounds. Back for Lobe again. Miami content to just play it around, look for options. Stretch the defense a little bit. A heavy touch here by Francois, but he makes up for it. Gets it off for Speedy Williams. He plays it down the line. Nice little back heel, but Speedy Williams trips on the turf, and Pittsburgh come away with it.
I think you mentioned that Pittsburgh are a very well-organized side with Bob Lilly. You know that defensively they're hard to break down, and Tampa Bay Rowdies found that out in the last match where they got beat 2-0.
Ball played in by Forbes. Is going to come at the edge of the box and just barely taken away by Chapman Page. He looked like he got a toenail to it to knock it away from danger.
Yeah, good defending by Miami. There were two little half chances there for Pittsburgh, and on both occasions, Miami defense doing their job.
Riverhounds still with possession. Cicerone now trying to play it against Speedy Williams. And Williams gets the better of him. We talked a little bit about it before, but Speedy Williams being back in the side after being away for international duty, a massive, massive boon to this midfield for Miami. And Paul Dalglish mentioned it. Having him back is just a massive player to have.
I think he's one of the best midfielders in the entire USL. So if you're missing Speedy Williams, it's a big blow. And their loss against Loudon, you might have thought, well, if Speedy Williams was available, maybe they wouldn't have lost. But he's not the only quality player. Ariel Martinez is another one. What a talent he is. And yeah, he's getting on in years at 35, but great feet, left and right feet. So this is a stacked Miami FC side. Absolutely no doubt about it. But then, having said that, Bob Liddy's got himself a really good Pittsburgh Riverhound side once again. So hard to pick between these two teams, as the table suggests. They're both right next to each other. A point separating them, and a game difference in terms of a game for Miami FC.
3 games for Miami, 2 for Pittsburgh. This game for the Riverhounds, massive implications. If they win here tonight, they control their own destiny when it comes to where they stand in the playoffs and who they play in the next round. Later in the broadcast, we'll take a look at some potential matchups for the playoffs, since it is right around the corner. Just 3 weeks left now in the season. The end of October will mark the beginning of the playoffs.
Just quickly to clarify, it's 3 points difference between Pittsburgh and Miami, but Miami do have the game in hand. So that's where the closeness comes. And just to repeat, Charlotte 2-0 up against Charleston Battery. So Charlotte currently in second.
Ball into the box here, looking right at the edge. And it's going to be cleared away by Baggio. The save by Connor Sparrow. Quick reaction save by the Miami goalkeeper. Stops a very good chance for Pittsburgh.
That's a good save from Connor Sparrow. It's his feet that clear the ball literally from 2 yards out. It's going to get whipped in from Jordan Dover, or passed out wide from Jordan Dover. Then it gets passed in. Now have a look at the near post. The goalkeeper's left foot comes around and makes a fantastic clearance. Otherwise, that was in the back of the net.
Cicerone right there to wait for it. The cross from Dover is going to go out wide and out of play. So Connor Sparrow able to calm things down for the moment with his goal kick.
There's a little half chance for both sides. Ariel Martinez, he had his shot saved from Danny Vitiello, and Connor Sparrow popped up there to stop Cicerone. So honours even. I think it's going to be a very close match right to the end. 2 fantastic teams, and really not much to separate them.
A miscue pass by Bob, but ends up staying in play. A few shouts from the Riverhounds fans and players, maybe saying otherwise. Sakanyode with some space now, looking for options. You see how compact this Riverhounds team is defensively. Very good at just biding their time, waiting for those balls to be turned over, and then hitting on the counterattack.
It is a team that is very, very difficult to break down. And it has always been like it under Bob Lilly. I think most teams that play them know that to be a fact.
Martinez has laid it off for Bob. Bit of a miscued pass. Staying with it is Ba, and that one will deflect off of Ba last. So a Pittsburgh throw in their own defensive third.
Just looking here at the goals against, the only team to have conceded less goals than the Riverhounds is Tampa Bay Rowdies. So, yeah, very well organized. And I think Bob Lilly would demand nothing less from any of his sides.
I mean, just look at Bob Lilly's history in Pittsburgh in 122 matches in all competitions. They've only allowed 110 goals. That's less than a goal per game. Can't be better than that.
Very true, very true. That's why I think everybody knows what you're getting when you play Riverhounds. You know you're getting a tough side to break down and one that can hurt you in the counter-attack. So, but having said that, Miami FC, they've got a ton of talent going forward. So it's hard to pick which of these two styles and which of these two sides is going to come out triumphant on the day.
Cicerone trying to play it out wide. It ends up falling for Dover instead. The cross is going to be blocked. Half-hearted shout by Dover to say it maybe hit the arm. Well, Miami trying to break forward with Lamar Walker. Ends up turning it over. Walker almost on an island there as Miami had gotten all the way back to defend. Now a bit of triangle passing from the Riverhounds, is being very patient with the ball.
Just by the way, credit to Pittsburgh. Coming into the weekend, only they, Lou City and Phoenix Rising have made the playoffs for the 3rd consecutive time. So once again, the Riverhounds producing the goods. The problem for both these sides is you finish 3rd or 4th, and if they drew, for example, then the chances are Charlotte finished 2nd, they finished 3rd and 4th. You're going to go and play Lou City away and Birmingham Legion away. Those are tough matches, and Pittsburgh found out last year at Lou City how tough it was. They got knocked out there. And as good as both these teams are, you go away to Lynn Family Stadium in Lou City, you go away to Birmingham Legion, given the form Birmingham Legion are in, that could be the end of your season. So neither of these teams wants to finish anything but 2nd in this division.
Again, it's almost like you're strategizing on who you want to play next. And again, Miami, if they get a result in this game, they are locked into the playoffs for sure. And then you can kind of control your own way around. But ultimately, with Pittsburgh being 3 points ahead, they're the ones who control their own destiny for now. Cicerone now, ball into the box, headed away for the moment. The drive from distance just missed by Daniel Griffin. What a volley attempt.
That's a great strike from Danny Griffin on the edge of the box. He's not too far wide. I didn't see Connor Sparrow go for a dive, so maybe it's a little bit wider than we think. But have a look, ball in, gets headed out, hits that straight away. No, he is diving. He thinks that might be going in, and he wasn't too far wide. And it's a snapshot. You haven't got time to set yourself up. It comes. You got to hit it straight away. And Danny Griffin did that brilliantly.
Foul by Forbes on his opposite number. Akinyote into the midfield. Bit of pressure coming from Pittsburgh. Switched all the way for Ballard. Speedy Williams. Back for Akinyote. All the way to the opposite side. To stretch out some of the defense here. Miami haven't really had too many chances in the build-up. One chance very early on from Othello. Outside of that, nothing's really gotten past this Pittsburgh back line. Good quick succession of passing here as now it's opened up a bit of defense. Here's Speedy Williams now. Getting on the run of Ballard. Francois now with defenders closing in. Back for Ballard. Waiting for runners to make forward runs, and instead it's booted all the way back for Connor Sparrow, who has come out to help in the attack. Line-breaking pass intercepted.
They just can't seem to thread this ball through, can they? Miami FC, they've tried, and Pittsburgh Riverhounds so quick in defense just to nip it in the bud as soon as the ball comes in. And they've tried with Cristiano down this side. Have a look, Cristiano's had the ball a few times. He can't get past Jelani Peters. And Ariel Martinez, other than that one chance after a couple of minutes, has also struggled to get through. Early days yet, but it is really a battle of two very good sides giving absolutely nothing at the moment.
Big turnover here is Ba keeping it in play, at least for the moment. It's knocked out. Since 1947, Select has been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. Select is the official ball supplier of the USL Championship and many of the elite leagues throughout Europe. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit selectsportamerica.com.
Just looking at some of the stats of previous meetings, the Riverhounds have led at 45 minutes in all 3 previous meetings. So if you're Riverhounds fans, you're thinking, yes, this is our game. However, I need to add something to that. They have only taken 1 point away from those 3 matches in which they've led. So it seems to be the Riverhounds get ahead and Miami come back to either win or worst case scenario draw. Interesting to see how this one will go.
Here's another ball from Lamar Peters now, making the run forward. Only yellow shirts around him though, and he turns the ball over. The collection of defense from the Riverhounds side, really not allowing too much offensively, is Speedy Williams keeping possession. Now out wide for Ba, tries to play it through for Martinez, and again, just all yellow shirts in the path.
You can see how deep they are, Riverhounds. They defend only in that final third for most of their defensive actions.
Martinez had some options going forward, but he waited just a bit too long to make a decision. So now it's recycled out for Francois. Trying to drive through the defense. Into the box now is Francois, and it's knocked out by Peters. And it will be a corner, the first of the night for Miami.
It's the first bit of joy that Francois had done that right-hand side. Really has struggled to get anything, but a set piece is always good. There's enough big players in that Miami FC side to get on the end of something. Akinyode, Chapman Page.
See Francois, he was making that run, just kind of drove in between defenders, making something happen on his own. We'll see the ball in from Martinez, looking back post, and no one there to meet it. Closest one was Baggio. He's slow to get up. So a goal kick coming for VTLO and Pittsburgh.
Baggio will be looking to impress. I mean, I don't think he'll get the regular starting role when Paco Craig gets back, of course. But you never know how the playoffs go. You never know who picks up an injury. And if you've impressed the manager at centre-back, then every chance he calls you up when needed.
And the thing with Paco Craig is he's one of the leaders on this team, not just in the back line, but this team in general. When he is on the pitch, it makes a big difference, not just for him and his ability, but also through his leadership and his vocal ability on the field. And not having him for the last match, for the last 15 minutes, it showed quite a bit. And for this match thus far, it's been okay. But as the game wanes on, we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, I think certainly in the last match when Paco Craig got sent off, then there was no Speedy Williams on the pitch, and those are 2 of your more senior players. And then things sort of unraveled a little bit for Miami FC. It was a strange sending off because he tugged the shirt of the attacker going through, but it was a similar situation in the first half, and Miami got a penalty, and the player who brought him down, Landry, also tackled from behind and didn't get a card. So the referee saw the 2 as slightly different.
Here's Ariel Martinez now into the box, getting it trapped under his own feet, and lets it go out of play for a corner. A bit of frustration from Martinez. He may have had the beating of 1 or maybe 2 defenders on the run. A good opportunity off another turnover. Too many Pittsburgh players caught upfield. And you've seen thus far throughout the game, the collective defense of Pittsburgh, when they're in that formation, they're very staunch, very hard to break down. But now another set piece opportunity. This one just blasted away by Peters. Well, it's still back with possession with Miami. The ball into the box. Peters again, the towering header. And this time, Speedy Williams called for the foul on Cicerone.
That's good pressure from Miami FC. Generally, they've had Riverhounds on the back foot. They've got a few set pieces, just haven't been able to get anything from those set pieces. You certainly get the sense that the home side is feeling more relaxed on their home surface, and they seem to have the ability to control the match slightly more than the visitors do.
We talked about Miami's last game against Loudoun, but how about Pittsburgh's last game against Tampa Bay, where they won 2-0. Very big results at Highmark Stadium in Pittsburgh, which, by the way, one of the best venues in USL. You can't beat the picturesque Highmark Stadium. Always impressed when I see games being played there.
Yeah, it was a great performance to beat Tampa Bay. I mean, they're a top class side, and they're a little bit lucky in parts. De Santos hit the crossbar early on, and then there was a penalty, was Vitiello saved, and Tejada following up blasted it over the crossbar. Then they got their own penalty when Forrest Lasso brought down Alex Dixon. So, but in the end, you win at home against the Tampa Bay Rowdies, one of the top teams in the USL. I think they're finding their peak at the right time, Riverhounds. This is what Bob Lilly wants. He wants them to be able to beat the likes of a Tampa Bay right now as they're coming towards playoff time.
And again, with Pittsburgh, only a couple games left. So you see Bob Lilly shouting to his team. As of right now, they play the Charleston Battery and Hartford Athletic in the Atlantic Division. Neither team challenging for that spot. Hartford currently 1-0 up on Loudoun, however. Should mention that. And Charleston currently losing 2-1 to Charlotte.
It's interesting, they pulled one back against Charlotte, and that's good news for both Pittsburgh and Miami. They both want Charlotte to lose and be able to get a better grip on that second place.
Now on the run, on the far side, can he keep it in is Lamar Walker. He can. Running against the defense now into the box. Cutting it back is Walker. Still Walker looking for options. He'll pull it back out and play it all the way for Akinyode.
It's interesting. I thought he'd done the hard work there, Walker. He got in the box, he got to the byline, and then decides to cut back and knock the ball all the way back here. If you're in the box, I always think just whip the ball in. You might get an own goal, you might get one of your strikers might make a good run, but having done the hard work, I just don't see the point in playing it all the way back.
I will give credit to Mikel Williams, the defender who was on that. Did a very good job just limiting the options for Lamar Walker in the box. Good cutting ball by Francois. Now back for Walker again. Walker top of the box, looking for options, closing down quickly. And once again, Miami forced to reset. Down the line by Lobe. Here's Walker again for Ballard, who's come into the midfield. Plays it out for Francois. Getting past Peters, but Peters handling him, and it will be a free kick in a very dangerous opportunity for Miami. Some good opportunities thus far from dead ball situations for Miami.
This one in particular is right on the edge of the box there. Jelani Peters definitely having a little tug here and there, and gets blown up for it, but in good spirit, he then goes and helps the player get up from the ground, which is good sportsmanship. Now this, if you're Ariel Martinez, if you can bend it towards the keeper, it gives Vitiello a problem. Does he come for the cross? Does he look for the actual shot itself? It's the perfect angle for Martinez to bend this towards goal and just see if he can tempt someone to get ahead on it.
And again, with players like Peters and Williams in the box, just big-bodied center backs that can win balls in the air, may just go for goal here as Williams goes and instead right to Vitiello. Didn't get quite enough bend on that, or maybe too much bend.
Yeah, it needed to be further away from the keeper, bending in towards him, but give your players a chance to get on the end of it. Far too easy for Vitiello.
So far, those 3 set-piece opportunities, the 2 corners, and that free kick right there have been... You've been wanting a little bit more from that quality, especially with Martinez being one of the better servicemen in the league right now.
Well, there's a name on the bench, Chris Cortez, who might fare better, but that's never been Paul Dalglish's style of football. He loves it on the ground, he loves to move defenses around, loves skillful players who can attack you from any position. But it would be a good option later on in the game if they haven't had any joy, Miami FC.
Out of play, Speedy Williams looking to take it very quickly. Ballard now for Martinez. Nice little cutting ball from Martinez, and Ba just could not get there in time. Martinez trying to stay with it, but it's going to be cleared away by Griffin. Now Williamson pulling it all the way back. Gets it off for Griffin, and now some space opening up for the Riverhounds. Here is Griffin.
Lots of space. He hasn't got many players in front of him. Everyone's behind him, and they've got to slowly work their way up. But they're a more patient side, Riverhounds. They're quite happy to sort of hold the ball up and wait for support. A little bit of chippiness coming in here.
Yeah, Wharton and Speedy Williams getting into a little bit. Just Williams taking down Wharton and standing right over top of him. I don't think Wharton appreciated that. We'll take another look at how that played out.
I think Wharton feels there might have been a kick just there, some sort of... Hard to see, and I wouldn't expect Speedy Williams to get nasty with the players on the ground.
I think it was just something that he was trying to stand over.
Get higher! Hey!
Just got stuck a little bit too on top of him.
They're playing here because they're not having to defend.
So you can hear Bob Lilly's very vocal voice from the sideline.
I think he's trying to get his players to move up the pitch. They're very deep, and they've been deep for a while, and when they broke, there was just nobody to play to, and slowly all the yellow and black shirts have worked their way into the Miami half, but already they're dropping deep.
And we're past the 30-minute mark. Still 0-0 our score. Once again, Austin David here, joined by Manchester United legend Gary Bailey. Now Pittsburgh making a run in the counterattack. Ball looking for Forbes, is going to be cleared away. Ball is underneath it. Now Dixon lays it back off. Here's Wharton. Cicerone now. Into the box of Cicerone. Cross is going to be blocked by Speedy Williams, and now it'll be a set-piece opportunity in a corner for the Riverhounds.
This is where the Riverhounds are dangerous. Alex Dixon down that right-hand side. Canado Forbes in the middle. You can see Paul Dalglish is trying to direct his players to be very well aware of those threats. And then Cicerone down this near side, this left-hand side. So Dixon on one side, Cicerone the other. And the likes of Forbes and Williamson in the middle. That's a real threat for Miami FC.
Now Pittsburgh will have an opportunity off this set piece to do something with it. Here is the ball into the box, looking far post, popped up in the air. And out of play, and we'll do it again.
And all the while, we have the band playing in the background, Miami style. Good to see the fans enjoying themselves as Connor Sparrow just gets ready for a potential cross into the box.
So Forbes setting up for a second consecutive corner kick. See what Chapman Page and Baggio can do. Here is Forbes. Looking back post, Williams gets the head onto it. Still danger. And the turnover is made. Here's Francois now. Counterattack option for Miami. Out wide for Lamar Walker. Numbers closing down for Pittsburgh. Walker stood up, and it's going to be another free kick for Miami. And this time, we'll have our first card of the match shown for Jordan Dover.
Yeah, professional foul from Dover there. He was in trouble. He knew there's no way he could let Walker go past him because there was just nothing but empty space behind him. And he knows he either gets the ball or he gets the player. Maybe Todd Wharton would have helped him out there, but you can't take that risk as a defender. You can't hope that someone is going to come behind you and solve the problem. And he feels it's okay to give away both free kick and yellow card.
Now your fullback sitting on a yellow 32 minutes into the match. Give something for Bob Williams to think, or Bob Lilly, excuse me, to think about as the game wears on. And yet again, another Miami free kick. Will it be Martinez to take and loft one into the box, or could it be Lamar Walker who's standing over it right now?
I always think with this turf, you never quite know how the ball bounces. If you dip one on the ground before the keeper and test Vitiello, that's worth a try, I think.
So we will see with Lamar Walker as he is looking to take this. Could leave it off for Martinez, but it will be Walker. Blasts it right into the wall and out of play. So another corner coming from Miami.
I hope you're relaying it. You can't let shit go and then now
Bob Lily's upset. He's upset with some of the decisions.
Just chatting with the fourth official, making his opinion known.
Chat is a very loose use of the word, but he's such a passionate manager, and that's what I think his players love about him and the fans of the Riverhounds. He gives you everything, Bob Lilly.
Ball into the box. It's punched away by Vitiello. Martinez able to touch it down. Back with Ariel Martinez. It's a good ball into the box. Bit of a push and clearance by Griffin. Nothing really called. But again, going back to Bob Lilly, that's one of the things. He's so passionate despite being in the game for so long. If you can have that passion for as long as he's been in the game, it's always a boon for the players to have a coach that cares as much as you do.
Well, I think that's why he has been in the game that long, because he has a passion for it. He keeps his players going, gets fired up every season, loses key players like he has once again, and one of those that he lost was to Santos, who went to Tampa Bay, but goes and finds Cicerone, Alex Dixon, rebuilds the team. He loves it. He's passionate for that, and every season he gets to the playoffs. You can say it's the third year running that they've done it now, Riverhounds, and he just loves that challenge. And credit to him. What a fantastic manager. And when other managers such as Paul Dalglish say to you, wow, it's hard playing against Bob Lilly's team because they're so flexible and they're so well managed. Well, I think that's the biggest credit you can possibly get as a manager.
So you see Vitiello blasting it down the field. I will mention that his 13th win of the season against Tampa Bay is currently 3 away from Chris Robinson's team record, set all the way back in 2004 for most wins by a goalkeeper in a season. So loose ball in the box here for Pittsburgh. Here's Forbes. Plays it out wide now. Back with Forbes again. Chipped over top. Chapman Page misses it. And so does Cicerone. Chapman Page missed the clearance and it fell to Cicerone, but he couldn't control it as it was an open goal for Pittsburgh.
Have a look at this beautiful ball played in, and you're right, Chapman Page stretching, and Cicerone just doesn't quite believe that Chapman Page might miss it. And it maybe even gets a touch on it that just puts him off, to be fair, and so close there. And that's Pittsburgh in a nutshell. They can defend, and then all of a sudden, boom, Pittsburgh Riverhounds create an opportunity.
Yeah, it was Jordan Dover with the ball into the box. Fairly solid little chip. Here's Dover now. Ball play back. Francois was there. Knocks it back. Again, first real chance over the last 20 minutes came from just a misplayed ball. So here's Lamar Walker. Chipped over top for Walker. Being shielded down, and another free kick conceded by Pittsburgh. And another opportunity in Miami's offensive third.
They're very tight on those strikers, Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Jelani Peters in particular, not giving them any space to move or turn, and they're stopping the threat. They know that once Walker and Francois start running at you, Martinez, you're in trouble. So what they've done is they've stopped them from running at you. They're right up close and personal. Yes, they're giving away 1 or 2 fouls, but they're just stopping from they're stopping Miami from getting into their flow and into their rhythm.
It'll be Lamar Walker to put this ball into the box. A decent low ball cleared away. Still with Miami. This one put in by Ballard. And going for it is Vitiello. He bobbles it, takes a bit of a shot to the nose, but manages to control it nonetheless.
He's not happy. He took one right in the face there. But he did manage to get the ball at the second attempt, so well done the goalkeeper.
With sights set on home field advantage, El Paso Locomotive welcome OKC Energy. Looking to remain in the playoff hunt, it's El Paso OKC on October 24th at 8 p.m. Eastern on ESPN Deportes. Approaching halftime, still 0-0 our score. Some half chances for both sides, but I think too much to send home about thus far. See if that changes in the next couple seconds here. As coming out is Connor Sparrow. Good cutting ball, looking for Wharton on the run.
Well read by the goalkeeper, nice and quick. For a moment, I thought Wharton might be in. But just looking at the score at the moment, it's at 0-0. If there's any Charlotte fans watching, they'll be thinking this is the perfect result for us, a draw, and both our rivals drop points. That's assuming, of course, that Charlotte still go on to beat Charleston Battery, and I think the latest score is still 2-1. If that's the case, then that match is far from over. But this would be the perfect score for Charlotte to try and ensure that they get the second spot.
And again, currently, as it stands, 2-1 is our score. They're already in the second half, our Charlotte and Charleston. Dane Kelly, who has scored the current game winner. Dane Kelly making his triumphant return to the USL.
I think just to make the point again to viewers wondering why the second spot's so important, but if you finish third or fourth, which currently is probably where Miami and Pittsburgh are headed, you're away at either Lou City, which is a tough place to go to Lynn Family Stadium, or Birmingham Legion, are probably the informed team in the league at the moment. Those are two away matches that you're not guaranteed to get anything from.
Here's Baugh now, as the onside he is, and he scuffs the cross fairly well. So an easy goal kick conceded by Miami, as you see Paul Dalgleish there. Son of the legend, Kenny Dalgleish, who I believe you played against many a time.
Yeah, back in the day. What a great player Kenny was. And Paul also played for Liverpool for a short while. So he has a very distinguished footballing career behind him. But he's done a good job this season. Last season was a tricky one. He came in after a few losses and took over and just couldn't quite get the team sorted in time. But this year they really do have a chance. But this Atlantic division has 4 teams that all have a chance. Pittsburgh, Miami, Charlotte, with all the players they've brought in. They've got a great chance. And of course, Tampa Bay Rowdies, who sit top of the table and possibly top of the entire USL. Yes. It's a stacked division.
And again, 17 different changes from this Miami team from last year. And to be where they are with such a new team, to have that kind of buy-in, to have those results come forward, really does, it is a testament to Paul Dalgleish and his coaching staff to what they've been able to do in such a short amount of time.
And they've bought very well. They bought, I mean, Speedy Williams is a fantastic purchase, for example.
Dixon looked like the ball went over the line, but instead it's going to be a throw. So Pittsburgh will have an opportunity as Dixon will throw it back in. In for Cicerone, keeps it in play. Dixon. Now Griffin just plays it all the way back. Into the middle now. Here's Peters, who's come up a bit to help in the attack. Now Griffin. Driving forward, sees some space open up. Nice threaded through ball. Here's Williamson. It's cut out nicely by Chapman Page as he boots it back downfield.
Yeah, nobody there. I just wonder if Chapman Page could have at least knocked it towards one of the blue shirts, but he didn't. He knocks it into space. But it's a situation where it looks like they're going to go in at half-time level, and I don't think that suits either team at the end of 90 minutes. Anyway, at 45, they'll both settle for it. They'll rethink their strategies, and they've got substitutions they can bring on second half. But for me, either Miami or Pittsburgh have to go on and win this match if they're to knock Charlotte off that second spot. A draw here, and assuming Charlotte beat Charleston Battery, which we'll know before this match ends. If that's the way it goes, then you really fancy Charlotte have the second spot wrapped up. So we need a winner here tonight. I'm sure that's what both teams will be discussing at halftime.
And the thing is, they'll know when they head into the locker room what the score of that Charlotte and Charleston game is. So it changes the mentality of both teams as they are able to talk in the locker room and maybe change some tactics a bit, maybe go a bit more offensive, especially for Miami being the home side. In the meantime, Ariel Martinez playing it through. Here's Lamar Walker. It's popped up in the air, headed down and away by Peters. but only for the moment. Martinez plays it in and takes a deflection as it was cleared by Dixon. Now Williamson able to play it, but it's going to be played by Baggio. We have 1 minute of stoppage time we are hearing, so again, not much has happened this first half, so it makes sense to only have the 1 minute.
Yeah, a couple of chances for each side, maybe 1, 2 if you really stretch it. No great chances, but a little half chance each. Honors pretty even. I would say Miami have probably had slightly more possession and more time in the Pittsburgh half, but without doing much damage. They've had quite a few set pieces, again, without doing much damage. So it is all even so far. I think there's plenty of drama still to come in this match.
You always talk about chess matches between two different sides. This is the epitome of a chess match, trying to see which team makes a mistake first and capitalizing on it. Pittsburgh looking to do so right before the half. Forbes playing it back into the midfield for Griffin. Good pressure from Speedy Williams. Well played back. Knocked away by Dover. Want to join the Miami FC Youth Academy? Visit miamifc.com/academy to register to the only academy in Miami connected to a professional team. This stoppage time presented by Miami FC Youth Academy.
Well, it's very much defenses on top first half, but you know what? Second half, legs start to get tired, especially last 10, 15 minutes, and you might find the gaps start to open up. So defensively, two very well drilled and organized sides. I've had a decent first half, but with substitutions and tight legs second half, I'm pretty sure there's going to be a goal or two.
Just a couple seconds left. Connor Sparrow will boot this one as far as he can, try and get one more attack for Miami. It's going to be headed away. And that will do it for our first half. Very much a chess match between these two sides. Miami and Pittsburgh level at 0-0. So we will go ahead and take a break, as currently Baggio is down, but he's getting back up. We'll take a break. Stay tuned. We'll be back here on ESPN Plus in just a bit. 0-0 our score.
Once in a lifetime experience, really, honestly, and to really see how the quality that these players have, it's a blessing. I know from me and my teammates, we learned so much.
Man, it was an awesome day. I think it's a really good opportunity for our team to just see where we're at.
Well, I think it's a great opportunity for them. It's definitely something that I wish I would have been able to do as a kid.
But we know that the level that we have to be at, these guys, they were stronger than us, faster than us, quicker than us, and we know that we can one day get to this level because this is a great learning experience for us.
We get to aspire to be that, and it also shows them that we're just regular players just like they are, you know? And, you know, we come from where they are.
back here at Roberto Silva Stadium here in Miami. Miami and Pittsburgh currently 0-0 at halftime. This halftime is brought to you by Macron. Shop the new 2021 Miami FC Macron jersey collection at miamifc.com. Once again, Austin David here with legend Gary Bailey. So we take a look at the current schedule for the Miami FC at Tampa versus New York Red Bulls 2 and at Charleston. Two very big games coming up right after this one.
Yeah, the one at Tampa Bay Rowdies is a tricky one, and yet Miami FC have their head-to-head against Tampa Bay Rowdies this season. So, you know, there's no saying they can't get a result there. But Tampa Bay also looking to finish top of the USL. So that'll be a tough one. You would expect them to get something, and 3 points is something at New York Red Bulls, and rather at home to New York Red Bulls, and even a win at Charleston Battery, whose season's virtually done for. The tricky one, of course, is the next one at Tampa Bay.
Absolutely, and all these three games could play very big implications to where this team in Miami finish out the season. So now we take a look at the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, who only have 2 games left on their season. They play Charleston and Hartford at home at Highmark Stadium.
Yeah, and at Highmark Stadium, I think I've put them down for a win for both those. Again, both those teams, Charleston Battery and Hartford, are out of it at this current moment in time. Charleston Battery losing at Charlotte. So if that's the case, then you'd expect the Riverhounds to pick up 6 points there. So again, depending on how it goes, they have the better run-in compared to Miami, or that tricky match at Tampa Bay. And if Riverhounds pick up something here today, plus 6 points in those 2 matches, every chance they could finish second, but it all depends on what Charlotte do.
It's now 3-1 to Charlotte over Charleston as they are late into the second half. So with that, we'll take another break. Stay tuned. We'll be back with the second half and some stats and highlights from the 0-0 game between Miami and Pittsburgh.
Today, as you step onto the field, you step into your purpose. You step strong. You step hard. Con toda la fuerza de mujer. You step up.
Hey, y'all. Can we change up the chores?
Sorry. It's up to the wheel, man.
Oh, yeah?
Hey, change the channel back.
Sorry, it's up to the wheel.
I am a first-generation student here at Bellevue University. I feel like if I were to have gone to a different university, my experience would have been a lot more stressful and overwhelming, because I feel like I wouldn't have gotten that personal experience that Bellevue University has to offer.
Around it comes Fox. Solik, the back heel in! What a goal!
Luna is shot into the back goal.
Kuramoto has won it for OKC Energy FC. Oh, that is a brilliant goal from the substitute.
Today, as you step onto the field, you step into your purpose. You step strong. You step hard. Con toda la fuerza de mujer. You step up.
Back here at FIU Stadium, 0-0 our score between Miami and Pittsburgh. Once again, Austin David here with Gary Bailey. Gary, it's been a very interesting first half. We'll get to the halftime highlights and stats, but first let's take a look at some news and notes from around the league. So you take a look, Amanda Vandervolt named the USL Super League president, which kicks off in 2023. Some very exciting times for all USL with the Super League as well as League One and Championship. Adding on to it, Danny Cruz signs a multi-year deal to become the permanent head coach of Louisville City. Some high expectations with that club to come with that. And clear audio player of the week is Tacoma Defiance's Samuel Adrianton, netting a hat trick in their 4-1 win over Orange County SC on Saturday. So now, as it stands, let's take a look at our bracket for the Eastern Conference. This, again, if the season ended today, this is how it would look. Tampa Bay would be hosting Tulsa. Birmingham would be hosting Memphis. Louisville would be hosting Miami. And Charlotte would be...
I think there's a little error there with Birmingham Legion. They can't take on Memphis in their own group. That would probably be the Pittsburgh game. So let's go Birmingham Legion, Pittsburgh, Tampa, Tulsa, Charlotte, Memphis. Yeah, you don't want to finish 3rd and 4th and have to travel to face Lou City and Birmingham Legion. Just saying.
As we take a look at the rest of the schedule tonight on ESPN+, Oakland and Orange County kicking off at 10 o'clock. Tomorrow, a 4-game set with Sacramento and Tacoma, OKC and Birmingham, San Diego and Memphis, or New Mexico, excuse me, and LA Galaxy El Paso to end the night. So a full slate of USL matchups for this weekend. So we'll take another quick break. When we come back, we'll bring you the first half highlights and stats, and then the second half between Miami and Pittsburgh. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
This is a football city. From the grassroots to the turf. From the streets to the cleats. We are proud to represent this city. We are proud to represent Miami. We are proud to represent you. Your community, your club.
Back here at FIU Stadium, halftime just about done between Miami and Pittsburgh. Once again, Austin David here with Gary Bailey. Let's take a look at the first half highlights. With a 0-0 score, there's not much to be, but there were a lot of chances from both sides. First one coming from the home side very early on, Ariel Martinez.
Yeah, it's from a tight angle, and Vitiello does really well to come out nice and close and not give him much of an angle there. So it's a decent save from the Pittsburgh Riverhounds keeper.
And then on the opposite side, just a few minutes later, great little ball into the box looking for Cicerone, but Connor Sparrow with a great save to deny that near post chance.
As you can see the left leg of Connor Sparrow come round and just boot that one clear, otherwise that was going into the net.
Another chance coming from the Riverhounds. Right at the edge was Danny Griffin.
Decent shot.
The volley.
Yeah, comes very, very quickly at him and just wide of target, but a very decent effort from Griffin.
Time went on between the two sides. It was Pittsburgh with the chance right here at the edge. It was Cicerone again. He didn't know much of it as it came into the box. It was Chapman Page who missed that ball from Miami, and the ball just skirted wide of goal. That was it. That was all the chances from either team. You can expect a lot more in the second half because, as we mentioned, this is a must-win for both sides considering where it stands for the Charlotte Independents, who are winning 3-1 as of right now against the Charleston Battery. So right now, these teams are 3rd and 4th. So we'll break down everything that both teams need to do in the second half as it starts here in just a few minutes. As a matter of fact, we're going to have a substitution for the Pittsburgh Riverhounds as Jordan Dover, who picked up that early yellow card, is going to be coming out.
Makes sense, doesn't it? If you're on a yellow card and you're a defender and you're likely to get a second, then rather avoid the issue. Danny Rivera coming on. Lots of experience, the Colombian. Played 26 times already this season, so he should be an adequate replacement. And of course, there's a ton of good subs on both sides, so we'll start to see more and more of this happen as the match goes on.
You mentioned Danny Rivera coming in at that left back position. So it will be Miami and Ariel Martinez who will kick things off, and we are underway. Final 45 minutes between Miami and Pittsburgh. Both teams have switched points of attack. Pittsburgh will now head to the opposite way, and a very early chance. Williamson waiting for the play to run up as Dixon now drives from distance, and it's a great reaction save by Connor Sparrow.
Yeah, it's a good save, good shot as well. Alex Dixon getting a bit more space on the edge of the box than he got in the first half. Look at this, there's no one near him. He sort of lines it up and hits it. It just dips at the end, so all said and done. A very, very good save there from Connor Sparrow. Have a look at it. It just dips there very quickly.
Excellent reaction save by Sparrow, and now very early corner coming for Pittsburgh. Nardo Forbes into the box. It's loose, and it's going to come right to Sparrow. Now it's Ariel Martinez who will look to clear things and try and start a counterattack as now Ba switches it out wide. Here's Loba. All the way to the opposite side, and it's going to be intercepted. Now with Daniel Griffin. And Sparrow coming all the way off his line to clear that one away, just to be safe.
Gets a throw in the opponent's half for the Riverhounds. It means they can push numbers up and bodies up, so it works for the visitors, that sort of long ball.
Here's Dixon. Driving through into the midfield, tries the cutting ball, looking for Wharton, but it's going to come right back to Sparrow.
He's got such quick feet, Alex Dixon. When you see him run with the ball, you think he's going to get tackled, and he doesn't. He just manages to pull away from defenders.
Down the line it goes, stays in thanks to Francois on the far side. Now into the midfield for Martinez as he looks to switch the point of attack to the opposite end. And a fall from Mar Walker now. Looking top of the box back for Martinez, and cleared away. Williamson just getting tangled up. So well won back ball by Baggio.
Baggio's done well, and the thing about him as a centre-back, he's a very good ball player. Not as strong and tough as the Paco Craigs of the world.
Over the shoulder run. Cleared away by Vitiello, but a nice over the shoulder run by Lamar Walker, creating problems for that Pittsburgh back line. Back with Lamar Walker. Loba knocked out of play, stays with Miami, despite the claims that it took a deflection off of Loba. Here is the Miami fullback, playing it all the way back to Akinyode. Miami able to settle things down and switch around in the midfield. Poor turnover there. Ballard didn't put enough effort into the pass, as now Pittsburgh will look to counter. It's driving forward now. It's off for Cicerone. Lining it up from distance is Forbes. He tries to play it through. It was a good idea, just a bit too heavy on the pass. And it's out for a goal kick.
He did have the right idea, Conrado Forbes. So clever, sort of threatened to shoot, drew the defenders in, and then tried to play the ball through. Did all the hard work. And then his pass at the end was off target. So I just start to wonder from the manager's point of view when they'll look to the bench to freshen things up and get new bodies on, and especially Miami FC. Billy Forbes, what a good and quick player they can bring on in him. Chris Cortez, you mentioned him as a target man. De Silva, Adonijah Reed, those are all players who will positively impact the game. And I'm sure Bob Lilly's looking at his bench, and Lou Perez and Albert Dickwer. We haven't seen much of him this season.
Yeah, he's been out with that hamstring injury for a number of months. But he is a USL player to be watched. Still very young, still very capable. Actually saw him growing up at Montverde Academy way back in the day. I've seen him throughout his career. Very talented, Albert Dickwer.
Yeah, and a great option for Riverhounds. So won't happen now, probably. It's normally around about the 60th minute that coaches start to make their changes, but they'll be busy looking at it now, going, who's tiring, who's doing a job for me, who's not. Crucial 10 minutes for players to prove that they're worth keeping on the pitch or not.
Well, looking long for Francois, and only yellow shirts there, but Francois does a really nice job battling for it. And right into the fray is Danny Rivera on the far side, just making sure it remains Pittsburgh ball. Vitiello just sending his players downfield, looking to boot it as far as possible. Again, 10 minutes left in that Charlotte-Charleston game, so as of right now, these two teams are 3rd and 4th respectively in the Atlantic Division. I'm sure both teams are aware of the situation. Francois playing it.
And because of that, as you quite rightly say, a draw's not enough. A draw here almost certainly gives Charlotte the 2nd spot, and then it doesn't matter whether you finish 3rd or 4th. You're either playing Birmingham away or Lou City away. Either is not going to be easy, and I don't think it really makes much difference. Probably to Pittsburgh, if I'm not mistaken, it was Lou City who knocked them out last season, so they'll probably either want revenge to go back there, or they might say, you know what, rather give us Birmingham Legion this time.
Definitely things to think about as the season winds down. Here's Lamar Walker, getting past 1 and 2. Maybe expecting the foul to be called, and none was given.
We just got the Miami Sound Machine getting into gear in the background. It's like a party atmosphere here at the FIU Stadium.
Good play through, just getting checked under Lamar Walker's feet. It's going to come for Speedy Williams. He tries the shot and over the bar.
Pity when it dropped to Speedy Williams, I could hear your voice go up an octave or so, because you're thinking if there's one player who can stick it on target, it's him, but just didn't quite get over it. You got to, got to hit it hard, but you've also got to get over the ball, otherwise it tends to rise, and in the end, it doesn't trouble Vitiello at all.
You could see it from a mile away. Speedy Williams was going to wait for that and volley it home. Jelani Peters did read it as he was letting it bounce and did step up to at least cause a bit of concern for the shot, but didn't get a piece on it. Didn't need to at the end of it. Loba plays it back. Here's Baggio, back for Sparrow. Connor Sparrow, good distribution. Gary, for you as a former goalkeeper, as you see Vitiello clearing that one, how important is it just for distribution and building out of the back to be able to have good, quick feet in order to help in the attack?
Oh, very important these days, but I also think it needs to come with a sensible head that says, if it's not on, don't force it, because if you lose the ball on the edge of your box, it's almost certainly a goal. You can't give away goals cheaply. And I think we've seen a lot of that the last couple of years, and slowly goalkeepers are saying, you know what, if I don't think it's on, I'll just boot it down the pitch. Often you boot it down, your center forward flicks it on, and you got a chance. So it's not a terrible thing to have to boot the ball, but coaches do want you to play out the back whenever you can. So good feet is vital these days.
Speaking of feet, Lamar Walker taken down. And it's going to be a yellow card. And this one's going to be shown to Conrado Forbes. We'll take another look at that one. Forbes wearing the captain's armband tonight, just getting tripped up, coming in from behind, catching Lamar Walker on his run.
Yep.
In fact, Lamar Walker was asking for the card as he was down on the ground.
It's worthy of a yellow. It's, you know, the ball's gone. You know, Conrado Forbes knows what he's doing. He's bringing the player down. Professional foul. It's probably why I didn't put up much of an argument. He knows that it's going to get him into trouble. But it probably stopped an attack from building up, and that's why he was prepared to risk the yellow card.
Yeah, the one thing you never want to do as a player is ask for a yellow card to the referee, because he may not give it if you ask for it enough. But in this instance, Jonathan Bielinski did in fact give the yellow, so that's 2 yellows now to Riverhounds players. Jonathan Dover, who's now come off, and now Conrado Forbes. And yet another free kick opportunity coming for Miami. We'll see how they line up for this one. It'll be Ariel Martinez putting the ball into the box, and yellow shirts there, as was Daniel Vitiello.
Good goalkeeping, comes confident, plucks it out the air, calms everything down, pushes all his players up. And let's see if he's going to knock it long. That's it. Put all the pressure on the opposition. Let your forwards battle for the ball and get the ball up, and let the opponents have to defend against your players.
Wharton plays it out wide. Bit of quick passing here. Forbes goes down a bit too easy. Nothing given. And now chipped up into the midfield. There's Speedy Williams looking for the run on the wide side for Francois. Ball actually bounces perfectly for Francois. Now trying to get it for Martinez. And Francois will maintain possession. Good defense by Griffin. He knocks it out of play. Remaining with Miami, however.
I just feel the game needs a goal. It needed it first half, but it's getting more and more vital, because once you get one goal, the opposition have to come out. They have to do something different. At 0-0, yes, Miami are pushing a little bit harder than Pittsburgh perhaps, but both teams don't really want to risk too much. Once you go behind, then you have to have a go. So let's hope we get a goal one way or the other in this match.
Ballard out wide for Francois. He waits a bit too long and it's knocked out of play. A quick update for the other score. Charlotte has now upped to 4-1 over Charleston. Dane Kelly scoring a penalty for his second of the match. Wow. What a player Dane Kelly has been over the course of the last couple years in USL.
Oh, Charlotte now in second spot, as you mentioned. They have a game in hand over the Riverhounds, who are on the same number of points as it stands at the moment, and Miami FC 3 points back. So it's still fairly tight. I guess the bottom line is it depends on what Charlotte do. If they go on and win their matches in hand, then they will get that second spot.
Here's Martinez now. Tries to play the ball through for Francois and played it into a crowd of yellow jerseys. May have been better off taking the shot from that distance instead of trying to pass it through.
It was almost a no eyes or no look pass, wasn't it? He went as if to strike it and tried to sneak the pass in there, and they read it. But he's such a clever player, Ariel Martinez, that he can pull off all sorts of magic on the edge of the box.
Back heel flick, and it doesn't matter because it's going to be a free kick coming for Pittsburgh. A fairly late whistle, and the Riverhounds will have a free kick coming up. Just having a big chat with the referees about why that maybe wasn't a foul. Ba, who was committed, or was called for it. Reminder, if you can't watch the match, you can turn on Sirius XM FC, channel 157, North America's only 24-hour, 7-day-a-week source of soccer radio, featuring Ray Hudson, Tony Meola, Rodney Marsh, and USL All Access with Mike Watts and Devin Kerr. Every Tuesday night at 7 Eastern. You can also hear live action from the USL, MLS, Premier League, and more, all on Sirius XM, channel 157, and the Sirius XM app. In the meantime, 59th minute, Pittsburgh free kick. Let's see who takes it. Will it be Forbes? It will. Ball in from Forbes, looking back post, as Peters clatters in with his head and commits the foul.
And no one's got much joy from set pieces so far in this game. Really has been defenses on top up until now, and we're heading towards that 60-minute mark when coaches do tend to start changing formations, getting fresh legs on, players that can come in and inject a little bit of energy or a different style of play. As mentioned, lots of options on both these sides. Both these benches are pretty talented.
And again, watching them through 60 minutes, for you as a former player, what do you feel that is the necessity for both teams?
There isn't much to choose between them. They're both defensively been strong. It's just getting someone who can unlock the door. And I think for Miami FC, Billy Forbes is a good option. And Chris Cortez is a different option. Player you can whip the ball into and he can attack it in the air. So I definitely think there's some changes that can impact the game from Miami FC point of view.
In talking with Paul Dalglish, he did mention Pierre Da Silva as a player that is technically talented and very, he's got a very big upside. It's just a matter of where to play him. He could be as a 10, he could be as a winger, he can play as an out-and-out striker. But he has the ability to whip ball. He's got a great wand of a left foot. Could be very big if he comes in with Cortez to try and get some of those balls into the box, considering how Pittsburgh has lined up defensively.
Well, it was Da Silva who got the winner against Pittsburgh a couple of weeks ago as a sub. In fact, Othello Barr came on as a sub. So I think Paul Dalglish has had some success bringing on subs. Even in the last match, Chris Cortez came on as a sub and scored against Loudoun. But as I say, you've got a lot of firepower on that Miami bench. For Pittsburgh Riverhounds, not quite as much, although Albert Dikwe, if he is fully fit, would be a real gem to bring on because they've had success with him in the past. Lou Perez, perhaps, the Frenchman.
Lou Perez, the UCF product, former teammate of Haji Berry back in his UCF days. Signed just 2 games into the spring season last year. Played a game, came off injured, and then Louis Perez was a Pittsburgh Riverhound. It's a good win back by Miami. Outside the boot pass, trying to find Lamar Walker. Good idea, just couldn't keep it in play.
I'm just looking ahead at Charlotte's matches coming up, because if this remained a draw, would it be a bad result for either side? And Charlotte have to go away to Hartford, not easy. They're at home to Loudoun, you'd expect them to win that. And then they're away against Austin Bold, final match. And Austin Bold are just on the verge of getting through in the Mountain Division. They might need to win that game to go through. So there's no guarantee that Charlotte win all their matches. So both managers might take a draw as a decent result here tonight.
Ball into the box is going to be taken away by Baggio. Speedy Williams plays it now for Martinez. Martinez being handled by Daniel Griffin, and it will be a yellow card for Griffin. So 3rd yellow to Riverhound player. 2 of them still on the field. Jordan Dover has since come off. Let's take another look.
Could be a sign of tiring, and players just don't have the energy to keep chasing back like Danny Griffin, and just give the player a bear hug and then complain you shouldn't have had the yellow. I'm not quite sure. I think he's just tired. But this is the problem when you've worked really hard, and they have Riverhounds. They have chased, they've closed Miami FC down every which way. you start getting into this final third of the match, and you know, your body's getting tired, and that's why, as I say, I think substitutions are so important to bring fresh legs on who can do a bit more of the hard donkey work for you.
And again, playing as the away team, you've had to do the traveling, you've had to be on flights, you've only gotten a little bit of time to kind of acclimate yourself to the field and to the just general time zone. I mean, they're in the same Eastern time zone, but still, travel does not do well on players' bodies. You really have to maintain yourself, especially in this day and age with how much teams have put into nutrition and just general activity from some of the players. Dixon trying to clear the ball and gets a bit too big of a piece of Lobe, who is now down clutching his left leg. You see Connor Sparrow running out saying he was stomped on.
I didn't see the stomp. I just saw a small connection, but I think the bench are also putting a bit of pressure on. But that's what benches do on both sides. They try and influence the referees, and it does seem like Lobe's taking a while to get back up. I don't think there's any malice, especially not from Alex Dixon. You rarely see him get upset about anything.
Seems like he may have come in with 2 cleats down.
If he did, then it would be a yellow card. But the assistant ref was right there. Let's have a look. We get a chance now.
Bang, bang,
here we go. Ooh, his feet were sort of on the ground. They weren't up in the air. But let's have a look at it again. Oh, it's very close to being the sort of foul that can get you a red card, but I think he kept his feet down, pointing towards the ground, and that might have got him off the hook. But to be fair, the assistant ref was closer than you or me, or even the camera, so you just got to go with what they see in the moment.
Yeah, I think it was the little half hop that may have convinced some of the other players that he jumped into the ankle of Lobe, but on replay, it doesn't look as malicious as it was. But here's a turnover now. Cicerone into the box. Cicerone has the shot blocked just barely as Callum Chapman-Page gets the last piece on it.
I'm saying Cicerone hit that early. He waited. I know he's waiting to get his balance and to get in a better position, but it's set up perfectly for him earlier, and he waited too long in the end.
Ballard. Now Francois. Akinyode. Knocking off for Lobe. Picks his head up, plays it down the line. Ball is hounded by the Hounds. Had to throw that one in there. Akinyode back in the midfield now. Looking for options is Miami, and another poor turnover in the midfield. Here's Forbes looking out wide. Numbers pushing forward for the Riverhounds. The overlapping run. Played into the box. Dixon popping it up in the air. Akinyode is going to knock it away, at least for the moment. Martinez is taken down, and it's going to be a foul called on Mikel Williams. Trinidad and Tobago man called for his foul. Oh no, it's a goal! When playing it out of the back goes wrong, Miami have conceded a howler.
What happened there? He's saying, no, it didn't take place. The whistle hadn't gone. There's an argument. The referee seems to have given it. And
the head referee is now having a chat with his assistant. And it looks like they're not going to give it.
I think he's drawing a line and saying, don't come any closer than that, or I'm going to give you a yellow card. So you can have a chat with the assistant ref. He's saying the same to the bench.
My goodness.
It's hard to see what happened. It was a pass back. I don't know if Connor Sparrow wasn't ready, whether he was...
It looks like he tried to settle it on his foot and just completely missed it.
Well, if he goes to trap it, then it must be a goal, because he can't say afterwards, I didn't expect it. If he goes to trap it, I assume it's because he's seen the ball coming. Wow, this is a critical moment in this season. If this goal is given, it's great news for Pittsburgh. If it's not, and maybe they're waiting for a little bit of help from someone looking at the TV to see what happened. If we can see the replay, maybe we'll have an idea.
As it looks like
no goal.
They are not going to give the goal.
Well, referee's not given. I think he's
Crisis
explaining to the
averted.
Riverhounds. Yeah. Well, let's have a look exactly what happened here. Ball played.
It's going to be a corner.
Well, I don't
As
see the
Connor Sparrow
problem.
went for the ball.
But it was played. The free kick, the free kick was played. Unless there's a whistle we don't know of, the free kick was played. It didn't go straight from the free kick to the goalkeeper. It was played to another player first. So,
in theory, that should be a goal.
You would think so, but maybe there's something we don't know. Maybe. Oh, and then now there's more conversation, explanation to Bob Lilly. What's going on? But I think in the end of the day, it'll be a corner, and very lucky Miami, whatever took place, and it's hard to know from here because maybe the referee said hold it, maybe he blew a whistle, and that's what they're complaining about.
But there's a massive amount of confusion because if that ball is played, how does it become a corner in that instance? There's now some shoving between Mikel Williams and Ariel Martinez has commenced. As the referee tries to get a handle on the game.
I think referee Belinsky has to make a decision and stick with it, because the longer he bounces from one manager to other explaining, he's just going to get more and more upset. Just call it. If it's a corner, go with it and get on with the game.
The deliberation continues between the referees as they try and decide what to give. In theory, it should just be a goal because the ball that was played by Jonas Loba was in play.
According to what we know, but there might have been a whistle we didn't hear. The referee might have said stop. There's other things that might have happened that we're not privy to. And the referee's gone with the corner. That's it. Let's get on with the game, I guess.
So after all of that, we have a corner for Pittsburgh. Crisis averted for Miami.
Well, crisis until the press chat after the game, but I think there's going to be, if Bob Lilly doesn't get a win from this, I think there's going to be some serious complaints in the post-game chats.
I think he's still trying to get a better explanation from the fourth official. In the meantime, play will continue on.
Wow, what drama. From nothing, suddenly massive drama.
So it'll be Kennardo Forbes to put the ball into the box. It's a good one.
Ooh.
And just headed over top.
That's Shane Wheat, who's got a great chance, and he's a good header of the ball as well. So even from that corner, Pittsburgh could have scored.
Bob Lilly still demanding an explanation of how that became a corner, how that wasn't a goal. Some drama here in the 70th minute. We took about 5 minutes to decide what was ending up happening in that instance.
Well, if you take an indirect free kick and you play it back to the keeper and it goes in the goal, then the keeper doesn't touch it, then it is a corner because it was an indirect free kick. But that free kick was played first to another player. That's what's confusing me.
So that's the confusion that we are facing here, but in the meantime, it still remains scoreless. As Pittsburgh fans are probably feeling pretty aggrieved with that call.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to get an early Christmas present, you take it. I mean, it's almost like they got the Christmas present and then it was taken back from them.
Santa none too thrilled about that.
But now you have to focus. Both Miami and Pittsburgh both have to become professional about it, get on with the game, look at getting the goal. For Pittsburgh, it's, yeah, you didn't get that one, try and make another one. For Miami, you got let off the hook. Take advantage of it.
Ball now into Walker. Walker tries to play it through and ends up a counterattack. Now opportunity is Chapman Page throws an elbow, and that's going to be a yellow card. An incidental one, but still contact to the upper body.
That's lucky that's a yellow, Chapman Page. When you come across with an elbow, you run the risk of it being a red. So I think he'll quite happily take the yellow.
So Callum Chapman Page, the first Miami player to go into the book.
Just have a look at it again, because he does lead with his elbow. You've got to be so careful as a defender. You've got to keep the elbow down. Let's have a look. You see that elbow was very, very high. Have a look at it again from a different angle.
It's right into the neck.
It's across the neck, and the referee's right there. That's very close to red. Woo, this match is getting spicy.
And again, Miami coming off a game where they felt aggrieved with the red card.
Against Loudoun United,
Yeah.
yes.
Could have very changed the course of the game. The ball is into the box. It's loose, popped up in the air. Sparrow is going to try and get onto it, eventually does. Collision in the box. Sparrow is now incensed. And the referee is having to calm things down as Wharton is down. It's all popping off here in Miami.
The referee did a great job there. It's more like a wrestling match that he got stuck in there and protected the play on the ground. But Connor Sparrow very quick to perhaps overreact to the situation. He got blocked earlier in that move. I think he was upset that he got blocked. And this, I think it was Cicerone got the header there to begin with, a really good header. So, it's all getting very tense. You can see it on Paul Dalglish's face.
Again, with playoff implications on the line, tempers are always going to flare. But you don't want to have those tempers become a nuisance to your team and potentially lead to discipline that would affect your team's chance of winning. So
sure, ideally, but when you're in the middle there and you're getting smashed in the face by someone, and
there's not, you rely on instinct in that instance.
Yeah.
This ball is into the box. Sparrow is going to grab it and quickly distribute. Again, no substitutions.
I'm
since
surprised.
That first half. Martinez now with some space. Gets it trapped under his foot, but manages to get it off for Walker. Space closing down. Baugh takes it away and manages to get it back for Walker again. Big switch to the opposite side. Francois now with it. Speedy Williams is in front of him. And Francois is almost taken away. Akinyode now switching it off. Here's Loba. Bit of a 1-2. It's intercepted by Dixon. Now Pittsburgh. Head up is Griffin. Not too many options going forward. Instead, he'll play it off for Forbes. Played into no man's land and intercepted. Here's Speedy Williams. Martinez now. Good touch forward. He's trying to play it off. Here's Francois into the box, and a touch goes just away from him and out of play.
It's a lovely weighted ball from Ariel Martinez. Just turns in the midfield. Yeah, he gets the thumbs up from Cristiano Francois. I'm not surprised. Beautiful ball, and he got there in time. He just couldn't do anything with it.
USL's elite pre-professional platform, USL Academy, allows clubs to build a pathway to pro soccer by bringing together top local youth talent and helping players transition to their USL senior teams. For more information, visit usl-academy.com.
Well, there's nothing much between these two teams at the moment. I was just looking at goals scored. They both scored 49 goals. They're so similar. Conceded, Miami conceded 36. Pittsburgh 33, so not much difference there.
This is a big touch by Lamar Walker as it takes him into the attacking third. Ball is into the box and headed away. An excellent header by Peters. He has been everywhere defensively for this Riverhounds team. Ball into the box again. Martinez pops it up in the air. It stays in play, and Ballard is able to maintain possession. So he goes for the cross and is taken down, and another free kick coming from Miami. Almost a corner-like cross will be coming in. So again, just over 15 minutes to go in this match, and now another opportunity for Miami to get a ball into the box.
Yeah, Ballard does well here, just holding up the ball, almost inviting the tackle as it comes in. He gets his body between defender and the ball very cleverly. Have a look, goes there and just steps across, gets his body between the tackler and the ball and wins the free kick. Now, they've had a bunch of free kicks and corners in the first half, Miami, and not done much with them. Is this the time that they are going to get a breakthrough?
We'll have some subs coming in right after this free kick, but it'll be Baggio to put his left-footed cross into the box. Here's Baggio's ball into the box. It's a decent one, popped up in the air. Missed clearance. Cicerone now plays it on the ground, and the heavy touch is going to take it out of play, and we'll have our substitutions. 2 for Pittsburgh, 1 for Miami. And first up Is Ba coming out. And coming in, Junior Palacios for Miami. Meanwhile, we mentioned Albert Dikwa. He is now in for Williamson. And Wharton has come out.
Substitution for Pittsburgh. Coming
into the match is Luis Perez.
He replaces number 8, Tommy Williamson.
So players we've mentioned so far in this broadcast have come in to potentially do something for both sides. Down the line, really challenged by Peters.
It's amazing what a difference a sub can make. They come in with fresh energy, a different way of attacking the opposition. The opposition have to adjust. Sometimes it takes them a little while to adjust, and that's when you can strike and take advantage.
Martinez able to maintain it. Here's Martinez looking for options. Gets it up, it's chipped into the box and grabbed by Vitiello. Again, just not much going offensively in the attacking third for Miami. Because of the way they're constantly switching, there's no real presence up top. So it could be time for a Chris Cortez appearance.
Could be.
Especially the way the game has been going with all the set pieces. Chris Cortez is the guy you'd want in the box for those instances. Speedy Williams chipping it up in the air. Chapman Page plays it back for Sparrow, who boots it back downfield. Settling underneath it is Dixon. Challenging is Lamar Walker. Now comes for Lobe. One back by Forbes. Now Griffin looking for options downfield. He'll just play it off for Dixon. Plays it down. Luis Perez was making a run, and instead all three players around the ball let it just run out of play.
It is interesting that Junior Palacios comes on for Miami, but I do think we will see the likes of a Chris Cortez or a Billy Forbes or De Silva very soon. They have to go for the win. Given they've got Tampa Bay away, yes, Charlotte might drop a few points. That's very possible, but a win here pushes Pittsburgh down a step. If it's a draw, then Pittsburgh suddenly become potential favorites to get the second spot.
Forbes and Dikwa going for the ball. Ends up being one back by Loba. Into the midfield for Speedy Williams now. It's Palacios, newly subbed in player. Playing a big 1-2. Cuts into the midfield, switching it out back for Loba again. Playing it all the way back is Walker. Zach and Yode now will reset. You can hear the Miami fans trying to spur on their team.
Well, there were 2 goals after this stage, and the last time these two teams met, both from Miami FC, we went from 2-1 down to winning 3-2. So this crowd will not be surprised if there are goals to come in the last 10 minutes. They're used to it.
Heavy, heavy challenge by Peters, and it goes all the way out to the opposite end.
But if it does remain 0-0, I think the discussion clearly will be on that disallowed goal as to what actually happened, what the decision was by referee Jonathan Belinsky. It's going to have massive implications if the result stays the way it is.
Definitely discussion points around the USL Championship circles. I'm sure Bob Lilly will have some things to be said after the match as well.
Yeah, it wasn't like the free kick was retaken because the ref didn't say take it. It was given as a corner, which suggests the referee said, yes, it was taken correctly. And then once he says it's taken correctly, I don't see how it becomes a corner. So I'm looking forward to hearing the explanation, but referees know a lot more than we do about the laws of the game. They live with it day in and day out, so I trust there will be a decent explanation.
There's always some of those very intricate rules that just nobody really knows about, but are buried within the rule books that you just find out about when some of these things tend to happen. But in the meantime, we won't dwell on what could have been. What's happening now is Cicerone is into the box. Akinyode gets it stuck under his feet, but manages to clear it away. Staying with it is Wheat. Ball into the box, looking far post for Dikwa. Come all the way back out for Ballard. Popped up in the air by Francois. We're in the 83rd minute. And still scoreless between these two sides. Martinez and Miami looking to try and change that. Martinez staying with it. Walker now with it. Out wide for Francois. He's into the box. He cuts it back. Chipped up in the air and no one there to meet it. And Vitiello is there. Martinez is down behind the play now.
I think that's who that ball was meant for. The assumption was that Martinez had kept running. And when the ball got played in, Martinez, in fact, was left lying on the ground with the wind knocked out of him. But the referee gave advantage, so that there's no real argument about it. Once the referee says, look, you've got the ball, you've got the advantage, then that's a tough one for Miami to not have Ariel Martinez in the box when the ball came in.
Mikael Williams was also down behind the play. He's just stretching out in the box right now. It's taking a few minutes to try and rest up a little bit. It's still 8 minutes plus stoppage time left to go.
It is time for Miami to make changes. Already would have made the changes a little bit earlier, but there's some tired legs out there from Miami FC. You've got Billy Forbes on the bench, you've got Chris Cortez, you've got Adonijah Reed, got players, you've got De Silva, got players who can come on and make a difference.
And it looks like it will be Chris Cortez who will come into the match.
Oh, there they are. There's a couple of changes.
A whole slew of changes coming, as it looks like not only Cortez, but also Pierre De Silva, also Josh Perez, and Billy Forbes. Actually, it's Adonijah Reed who will come in. So potentially 4 substitutions for Miami in one go.
That's interesting. They haven't got much time to impact the game, just 5 minutes or so.
At this point, Paul Dalglish just wants to go for broke. Meanwhile, Pittsburgh with some possession here, ball into the box. It's gonna come here in the box, falling and nutmegging Forbes. Forbes back with it. Here's Albert Dikwa. Dikwa into the box, he chips it over and out of play. It will be a corner coming for Pittsburgh.
Wow, drama in the box there. I thought Canada Forbes was going to have a shot, and it just didn't quite sit up for him. I thought Dikwa was going to have a rifle, and that seemed to come off a defender. There's a little moment there where I'm sure Riverhounds fans were jumping off their seats saying, this is it, this is the moment. Didn't quite happen for them, and in the end, ball goes for a corner, but a real exciting goal-mouth scramble there.
And through all of that, Pittsburgh will have a corner. Canardo Forbes into the box, popped up in the air by Callum Chapman-Page. Now headed away by Akinyode, at least for the moment. Luis Perez is going to run underneath it and win it back for Pittsburgh. Big long cross looking for Forbes again. Manages to keep it in play. Or does he? Assistant referee is going to whistle it out of play. And now it looks like all of the substitutions for Miami will be made. As first, Chris Cortez will come in, and coming out is Cristiano Francois. So a 6'4" body who has had 50 goals in the USL Championship is getting set to come in. Josh Perez also coming in, Pierre De Silva coming in, Adonijah Reed coming in. So very offensive-minded substitutions. Ballard, Walker, and Martinez, along with Francois, coming out.
Well, we thought there'd be subs. Didn't think they'd all come in one hit like that, but let's see what it does. Maybe it's just a sudden burst of energy and new approaches, and that might give Pittsburgh a few problems to deal with.
So Pittsburgh running with the lineup they have is Albert Dikwa, plays out on the ground. So now here's Dixon with some space opening up. He's got Forbes into the box. It's a shot, it's a save. Somehow Connor Sparrow keeps it out. It's not done yet as the blast from distance from Luis Perez just goes over top. What a save from Connor Sparrow.
Absolutely brilliant save from Connor Sparrow. That was from point-blank range. Alex Dixon's absolutely smashed that. Beautiful ball in from Forbes out wide from that right-hand side. Goalkeeper produces miracles of reactions there to make a save. Here we have a look at it. Canado Forbes out wide on the right. beautiful ball in. I mean, he picks out Alex Dixon perfectly, but how does Connor Sparrow even make that save from that distance? That ball is rifled at him, and he uses that left arm, doesn't even sort of get a hand to it, just uses part of his arm to make the save. And then it's blasted over the bar by Luis Perez.
So some more substitutions. This time it'll be for Pittsburgh, as Mikael Williams will come out and Preston Kilwine will come in.
Who's out? 15.
And Cicerone will also make way for Anthony Velarde. So he's coming in now. So both coaches going for broke here in the last couple minutes of the match. As Velarde has come in.
The only question I ever have about these subs taking place in the last minute is you're not giving them much time to really stamp their mark on the match. You basically got 2-3 minutes here to do something. I think if you bring fresh legs on with 10-15 minutes, you give them a chance to impact the game. But again, we don't know what the coaches know. We don't know the state of the players, etc. But it always does make me wonder why they don't come in a little bit earlier.
It's Josh Perez trying to get underneath it. It's going to go to play. Be interesting to see how much stoppage time we will see, considering how much of a discussion was made after that goal, non-goal. And we have just gotten word that it will be 7 minutes of stoppage time.
7. Wow. Well, maybe I was wrong about the subs.
A little bit more time for the subs to affect the game now.
Maybe the coaches knew that it was going to be a lot of time, and that's why they know the subs will be on for a decent amount of time to influence the game.
I mean, at the very least, there would be 5 minutes of stoppage time, considering how much time was spent to try and figure out what had happened in that 65th minute. More collisions as Dikwa is down. Meanwhile, on the other side, it's going to be cleared downfield by Miami. Cortez is underneath it, tries to get a header on it. He does. Reed. Now play back by Luis Perez. It's underneath him. He plays it downfield. Quick step overs now. Here's Forbes blasting from distance. Caught by Sparrow, and now we will tend to the down to Albert Dikwa, who, again, has just come back from injury. He's missed the last couple months, just gotten some playing time over the last couple games. And
don't miss out on getting your favorite players' autographs.
Don't want to lose him again.
305 sideline access area. Open to all fans for
again, the stoppage time brought to you by Miami FC Youth Academy. If you want to join the Miami FC Youth Academy, visit miamifc.com/academy to register for the one and only academy in Miami connected to a professional team. So we're into the first of 7 minutes of stoppage time. Still 0-0 our score. Once again, Austin David here with Gary Bailey, bringing you this very interesting matchup between these two teams. We've had a goal that has been scored by Miami that was then called back and given as a corner. We've had a save by Connor Sparrow from point-blank range.
It was a goal by Pittsburgh against Miami. Yeah, so that's going to be the controversial moment. I think there's going to be a big discussion. If this stays 0-0, that's going to be the big talking point, especially from a Pittsburgh point of view.
Chris Cortez closing down Vitiello. He boots it downfield.
I guess it's the Charlotte fans who are sitting back after there was a 5-1 win in the end against Charleston Battery.
Was indeed 5-1 in 89th minute by Overton.
There you go. They'll be
the 5th goal.
They'll be sitting back saying, you know, this draw suits us. Both our competitors drop points, and Miami FC have to go to Tampa Bay Rowdies. They might drop a few more there, so they have the game in hand over Pittsburgh. So all said and done, Charlotte are now looking like they're odds on to be the second place team, unless of course they slip up in the last couple of matches.
And the last time these two teams played each other, there was a stoppage time goal.
Yes, you're quite right.
We will see what happens over the next 5 minutes or so. But right now, Pittsburgh looks to be taking this point. You got to say, Pittsburgh is probably at this point, the more deserving of the team of 3 points, considering how many chances that they've had and how good Connor Sparrow has been for Miami.
Yeah, especially, you know, recently, that save from Alex Dixon was superb. The disallowed goal, we're not sure the reasons why, so maybe we can't talk so much about that. But Alex Dixon had a couple of chances in the second half that were decent. And really, we haven't seen Vitiello. In fact, the hardest save he had to make was in the first minute against Ariel Martinez. Other than that, I haven't really seen Vitiello called into action much.
We'll see what Miami has to say about that as they play along. Loba plays it back for Akinyode. Here's Speedy Williams now. They'll switch it off to the opposite side. Palacios plays it back. Akinyode now looking for options forward. Pops it up for Pierre da Silva. And intercepting it now, here's Dikwa.
See, here's a thought. When you bring Chris Cortez on, and you know he's a very big, good striker, surely you have to provide ball in the box for him. And that's something Paul Dalglish said, is that the team is so entrenched in playing to feet that when you get a striker like that, you sometimes don't give him service.
Luis Perez has found himself into the box with no help around him. And I think that at this point in the game, Pittsburgh is set more defensively to try and grind out a point.
So from here, you've got the ball wide. Lobe, I'm saying try and get it to the big man up for there. We go. Now we're talking.
Chris Cortez shields it down. Reed has it taken away from his feet. Forbes plays it down for Luis Perez. The Frenchman, down the line he goes. And it's going to be knocked out. Last touch by Akinyode. Still 3 minutes left in stoppage time for either team to find at what this point would be the game winner.
You would think so.
Crazier things have happened in this league. We've seen it over the course of this year, in fact. Ball played out. Here's Forbes. Ball into the box. Nobody there. Palacios has it almost taken away. But he manages to get it away for Griffin.
I guess at the end of the day, it all goes down to the playoffs, no matter what happens here.
Now here is Forbes, top of the box for Dikwa. It's a deflection, but it ends up working better for Connor Sparrow as he's able to claim it. Now here's Palacios on the far side. Crowd urging on the Miami side. Played for Pierre da Silva, who was making the run forward, and it's intercepted very well by Jelani Peters, who's been excellent for Pittsburgh this evening.
He has been. He's been so tight on the attackers. He's been cutting things up. Been absolutely brilliant, Jelani Peters. I'm just making the point that no matter what happens, let's assume it is a 0-0 draw. Let's assume these teams finish 3rd and 4th. It all goes down to the playoff. You know, it could be Charlotte who lose at home, and it could be Pittsburgh and Miami who go through against Lou City and Birmingham Legion. So it's not the be-all and end-all, this particular result, and neither will the next couple of games. These teams are pretty much assured of the playoffs, if not absolutely assured with this match. It'll go down to the first playoff match, which for both of these teams might be away from home, but they're both good enough to win it.
Here's Pierre da Silva now. Josh Perez now. Driving forward into the box. It's going to be taken away by Griffin and picked up by Vitiello. Less than a minute to go in this match. And it looks like we'll have ourselves a scoreless draw. Despite the best efforts of both sides, both of them will now fall to 3rd and 4th, respectively, in the Atlantic. Now we've got some cramping from Canardo Forbes. He has been just about everywhere in this match as well. Had some great threaded through balls, great balls into the box. He's done what he has tried to do as much as possible. Try and get his team on the board, but unfortunately unable to do so.
I just heard Paul Dalglish a moment ago. They're saying you've got to get it to Chris. That's exactly the point we were making. If you've got a big striker on and you're desperate for a goal, route one, and it's not always pretty football, but who cares? If it gets you a goal, if it gets you a knockdown in the box. But even if they can't get a goal, it'll be 4 matches between these teams for Miami, 2 wins and 2 draws, if I'm not mistaken. So the head-to-head will be with Miami. So should they finish on the same number of points, Miami will be put ahead of Pittsburgh Riverhounds.
Well, we have played the 7 minutes of allotted time. It's now up to the referee's discretion to call it. We continue on as Dikwa has taken it down. Back up in the air, and there is the final whistle. A very interesting match between these two sides. The chess match is a stalemate as Miami and Pittsburgh finish level. So let us take a look at our man of the match tonight, presented by Helbiz. It is going to be Connor Sparrow, the goalkeeper for Miami, who has made a number of good saves this evening.
That's one of them. And they made another one from Alex Dixon a little bit later from point blank range, but this is one of the saves he made. And you're right, when it's a 0-0 draw, the strikers can't beat the defenders. Well, it's either the defender or goalkeeper who normally comes up with the goal of the match. And Connor Sparrow made a couple of really good saves here this evening.
So that was the point-blank save that we were mentioning earlier. But in the meantime, both teams go to 3rd and 4th in the Atlantic Division, with Pittsburgh with 2 games left and Miami with 3. We'll take a break and come back to wrap things up here. 0-0 the final score between Miami and the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Back live here at FIU Stadium, 0-0 our final score between Miami and Pittsburgh. Once again, Austin David here with Gary Bailey. Gary, how do we best describe this match?
An honorable draw with one very, very big moment of controversy is probably the fairest. I think, you know, they both had chances at either end in the end. Probably Pittsburgh had the better chances. Early on, Ariel Martinez here in the first minute. Good save from Vitiello, but that's probably all the goalkeeper had to do all night. Decent block with his knees.
The best chance for Miami coming in the first couple seconds of the match, and then it was mostly Pittsburgh building through. Again, Miami's defense did very well, and Connor Sparrow, one big part of that.
His left foot here makes the save. That's going in the back of the net from Cicerone until Connor Sparrow comes to the aid of Miami FC.
Again, Cicerone with the delivery this time. The volley from Danny Griffin just going a smidge wide, forcing Connor Sparrow into a dive, but ends up not challenging. Then we go into the second half, few seconds into it as well. Alex Dixon tries the shot from distance. It bends down, and Connor Sparrow makes the save.
Yeah, decent save. The ball is dipping quite a lot at the end there, so the keeper does well to sort of spoon it out for the corner.
And now here is where the controversy begins. This ball is played to Lobe. He then plays it back to Connor Sparrow, who misses the ball, and it goes in the back of the net. Now, originally it was given as a goal, then it was given as a corner, which it remained 5 minutes later.
I don't understand it because it didn't come direct from the free kick. It went to another player, so it's in play one way or the other. But maybe there's a reason we don't understand. This was the save from Connor Sparrow. Point blank from Alex Dixon. Brilliant save with his left arm. This one just booted over from Lou Perez. But yeah, it's all going to be about that disallowed goal, and really looking forward to the reasons why it was disallowed. In the end, though, it's a point apiece, and as we said, an honorable draw.
An honorable draw between the two sides. I don't think Bob Lilly would agree with that statement, however. As you can see, 13 shots in favor of the Riverhounds, with 5 of them being on target. Connor Sparrow and the defense for Miami coming up big to at least get themselves a point at home, but only 1 home match remains for Miami and 2 for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I thought Pittsburgh early on looked the more defensive side, but in the end, they've had the better chances. They've had more opportunities. They played the match well, but they both move on. As we said, they're both going to be in the playoffs, so good luck to them as they go forward.
So for Gary Bailey, I'm Austin David. Thanks again for tuning in. We'll see you next time. 0-0 our final score.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.